Hello and welcome back to the channel, here for yet another league race, this in Benbo Gaming. I do believe this one was in, and we're here at Japan today for round 3 of the championship. If you remember the last 2 races, in Australia and Bahrain, I took pole and then won from both of them. Don't know how I did it, just did. These things happen, be good, be move. Here at Japan for round 3, so it's really unorthodox third round of the season. I'm going to try something different for qualifying this time, as it is wet. I'm pretty much going to show you any mistakes I made, and then every time I cross the line. As you can see there, down to turn 1, I did go a little bit deep, so offline to turn 2, and then you can see there at turn 5 as well. Just taking too much of the curve, I had to correct the oversteer. But at the end of that lap, we ended up doing a 39.1. It wasn't too bad, although next lap, we come across the line, find 1.5 seconds. And do a 37.6. Not too bad. Now on lap 3, as we turn in just after the hairpin, you can see we try and go flat. Not too much of a mistake, really, just more of no misjudgment. Then you can see fantastic. In the lap we find half a second anyway. On to lap 4 now, coming into the S's once more. Again, turning in now, using too much curb at turn 5. Just slice enough oversteer, couldn't quite catch that one. Or I would have lost too much time or spun, so I just thought, gravel's fine. We've got across there, end it here for this run. So back into the pit lane, change tyres of course. Can't actually remember if I looked at where I was, or if I just went straight back out. You can see it's going to continue to rain. No, we don't, we go straight back out onto the track.
Checks complete.
I believe I still P1 at this point. Also Jerome, very quick, you saw with the race in Bahrain last week. So, he was definitely probably my closest rival coming into this. Anyways, back out onto the track for what will be my 5th lap. This is the end of lap 4, you can see purple
You've just put in the fastest lap. Good job.
Finding a bit more timing, another 6 tenths there. Now lap 5, this is my fast lap of the race, so we're going to get the whole lap here. You can see finding time at turn 1, but then losing it at turn 2. Just struggling a little bit to get the car rotated, but then we find time coming in through 3. Pretty much the delta on the top right is going to go up and down the entire lap until we find a bit of track where we find subsequent time. You can see there the racing point, he actually did quite well to get out of my way there, but you can see he lost it into the wall pretty much straight after he let me through, but fair play to him there. I kind of went for that gap, very scary indeed. Now coming up towards the hairpin, you can see we're like 1.5 tenths down at this point. We find a lot of time under braking for the hairpin, lose it all again mid-apex, and then on the exit, getting a bit back, not quite full throttle this time, through the SPF, more grip, don't really lose any time, don't bog down at all, and then through spin. I think this is actually the best I took this complex the entire evening. And then down the back straight, you can see we're still down in time. So I didn't really find subsequent time anywhere, but where I made mistakes before, I kind of made up for those, and then lost time in other places. And then into the Casio Triangle again, as I believe it's called, I'm not entirely sure. On the exit, you can see we are up. As we come across the line, we do find a little bit of time. Not quite sub 37, but it was enough in the end. You can see lap 6, we are up again, but we get a slight snap of oversteer. Get the top of the Dunlop curb, couldn't quite hold on to that because the car would have spun if I tried. So back out that lap. At that point I thought it was the end of qualifying, but as you can see we'd make around for one more lap to start at 7th. And we're up as well. Almost 3 tenths coming up to 130R. We turn in, but then I don't know entirely what happened. We just ran a little bit wider than what I wanted. And then as soon as we touched the Astra on the outside, that was it. Car lost all grip. So that was it for that. You can see P1 in the end, 2 tenths, nearly 3 tenths up on Jerome at the end of that hit. Apparently Hindle just gave up, which explains his P6. I actually thought he was closer on the grid, not going to lie. But soft, hard strategy, as it will always be in Japan. Unless it rains, of course, but you can see no rain. Same weather scheduled for the entire race. So onto the grid we go. Waiting for the 5 lights. You see, over-revving a little bit. see as we get the power down, the back end steps out a little bit and we lose the lead. Kind of standard stuff, bad starts. Just by holding off to Jay Wizzy, if you remember from yesterday. I had a little bit of contact with him this time, I just kind of made sure that that didn't happen again. You can see there, a little, I wouldn't say brake check, but just slowing him down a little bit so he can't get a run on me. Just kind of being prepared, because I knew he would have been prepared to send there on the outside. Had the window open, so we hold off there. And now again, trying to pull away from him behind, obviously we can see we've gapped the rest of them by quite a bit. Just trying to stay with Jerome as well again. You can see here, we see quite a few times my line, unless actually I might have cut it out. But I take a different line to I think anyone I've come across against racing here at Suzuka. And at least through that hairpin. Then up into Spoon. I just wanted to try and keep the pressure on him. Obviously I saw last week in Bahrain, I was able to stay with him and make the move, get past, and then I kind of dipped a little bit, just making sure he couldn't come back at me. You can see now on lap 1 we have gapped Jay behind, Hindle behind him, and then Matty. We started on medium tyres. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure why. Maybe hoping they could get a safety car after the soft guys pit. But otherwise I wouldn't entirely know why they would pit. Then come up now to a replay of that start. So we are there on the front row. Lights go out. In a pretty cool start, you can see there just a slight bit of wheel spin after the initial phase, which causes us to drop back a little bit. In the end, not too bad, just one position lost. On to lap 2 now, so coming up towards Spoon, he touches the grass a little bit on the entry, then runs wide, so I'm thinking at this point, yeah, we can get him here. I've kind of forced that error, which is kind of a little bit unforced. He had enough of a gap. You see pretty much tucked right underneath his rear wing coming up to 130R. A little bit scary, so I didn't entirely know where to turn in. So we try for an outside move to go and then switch back, but he locks up, which kind of just prevents any switch back. And then Jay gets right onto the back of us again. So again, a little bit annoying there that he's had a chance to get right onto the back.
DRS is now enabled.
Now, so just the Hindu was at the fastest time that time. All round. Now coming down, so we're on lap 3 now, of course. Following Jerome through the first sector, and he seemed to really struggle here. I'm not sure what it was. You can see he just runs wide, just completely ignores apexes. So I'm thinking, okay, he either is running less aero here, he's running less downforce, which is quite normal. People to run less downforce than me. But I couldn't quite find any moves with it.
The car behind is dropping back by about 3
And then on to
tenths
lap
a lap.
4 down the pitch trailer, a bit ambitious from me here. I go up the inside, thought he was going to turn across, so I backed right out of that. It forced him wide for turn 1 or 2, so fair play to him for leaving me the space. I really didn't expect it. Then we'll follow him through this first sector again. You can see he's running wide at pretty much every corner. Might just be the pressure, or he's just trying to carry a little bit too much speed through here. You can see we're in a lot neater, then he runs a little bit wide on the exit of the Dunlop curb, so I'm like, yeah, why not? Let's send it up the inside. He thankfully backs out of that. Again, I thought these were a little bit aggressive.
Fuel is
So
looking
again,
really
I
good.
apologised
You're managing
afterwards.
it well.
He said, nah, it's all cool. Clean fair racing, so I know now for the future I can probably push him a little harder than that. And just see, maybe get away with it. You can see we have a little better line up through turn 7. He then clips the grass on the outside. I have a little bit of an overspeed, so I thought let's just turn this tiny overspeed into a move. And we get up the inside. On to lap 5 of the race now, coming down towards turn 1. And you can see here, he kind of stayed with me, which I expected for the rest of that lap. But then I expected coming through the S's, I would pull the gap. But suddenly he realised what an apex was. So he was hitting all of them. And at this point I was thinking, okay, this isn't good, because the reason I was so aggressive to get past him, or I made the moves where I did, is because I thought I would pull away. I thought I was a lot
That was
quicker.
the fastest lap of the race so
He
far.
kind of
We're
proved me
leading
wrong
our
here.
teammate
I mean,
by
obviously,
25.
you can see I set the fastest lap that time around, but solely just I got a feeling that's just actually I don't know. I think I just hooked up a lap, which is cleaner. That's the only excuse I have for that. You can see he's a lot closer to me now on the back of lap 8. He's across the line onto the 9th lap down the pit straight. So gets the overspeed. I don't fight it too much.
Okay, we've lost the
As we come into turn 1, back out a little bit, however he goes deep, locks up, so I just go switch back there, get back up the inside of him, back up into the lead of the race. You see on board from that now, you can see he gets up the inside there fairly easily, but then you can see from the onboard it just locks up, goes deep into the corner, so we take that position back. Now onto the end of lap 10, we're coming to the pit lane this time around. Pit hard tyres for the end, if you can stretch them a little further. Duck into the pits. Go nice and easy there, not really pushing too hard. So yeah, as you can see there, we couldn't gap him at all. I think Noah and him do a quite a good battle, so at least they were enjoying it. I was just trying to stay ahead of Jerome. It's kind of my main goal. We dropped to P5 now, as you can see other cars have joined us in the pit lane. So not too bad.
That was our last stop.
Dropped 4 positions, which kind of expected. A couple of them started on the medium tyres. Now you see at the end of that lap's on lap 12, Jay Wizzy and Jerome both into the pit lane, so we take both of those back. And you can see now we have just over a second gap to Jerome behind us, but as we jump to the end of the lap, that is non-existent. He pitted for mediums, which had me second guessing for a while whether or not he had to stop again. And once more coming down to turn 1. Again, I think I gave him a bit more space this time. I didn't run a fight in, he was on faster tyres. So I just let him have the position that time around. Jumping out all the way to lap 22, so literally 9 laps later. Nothing happened at all. You can see I've gapped Hindle behind. Jerome's not pulled too much on me. But for the second time in 2 days at Japan, we have a safety car on lap 22. You can see straight away pitting. Make the decision. In at the end of this lap. So this may have saved Jerome's race. I don't know if he was pitting or not. I still don't, to be honest now. Recording the audio a couple days later. I never actually asked him. Probably should have. You can see everyone pulls into the pit lane for a new set of soft tyres. So we didn't lose a place, we also didn't gain a place. I was kind of hoping we would maybe gain or do something from it. But there was nothing there that I could really do. So it is second place that we stayed.
Field accelerates. Remember, there
lap
is no
24
overtaking
getting
until
released
the
this
green
time,
flags.
so we were given an
Safety
extra
car
lap to
in
race.
this lap.
Obviously there's only 7 cars here, I think there were 13, 12 or 13 in GFC yesterday. He took a bit of a, I tried to kind of follow him at the exit. As probably pretty much come to expect with me on restarts. I can't do them. I don't know what it is. I'm alright leading because I go at really weird places that catches everybody out, which I find quite funny. But yeah, I can't really do anything. If I'm not leading, I'm probably going to lose a place at some point. You can see there, Dave retiring. Didn't really see him at all. Because of this race, you can see we're just trying to catch the Jerome, try and gap Hindle. As we come over through a Dunlop curve, a little bit of too much curve on the inside, snap of oversteer. We have to get right out of it before we spin, so Hindle gets up past us. A little bit annoying, but these things happen. I tried my best to try and stay with him and get back at him. You can see I'm jumping into the end of lap 26, so the run into turn 1, lap 26, Hindle was too far ahead. I couldn't get anywhere near him. However, this time around we were a lot closer. Setting the fastest lap off the race as well, which is again quite rare for me. We moved to the inside coming into the first corner, around the outside, which I was not afraid to do. Especially against someone I trust the race wheel to wheel with. You can see he backs out there before the S's. May have tried a switchback of some kind, but I wasn't having any of it. So luckily I managed to at least resolve the mistake I made. But then at the end of the lap, at this second place we settled for, I tried to catch back up to Jerome, but it was not happening. So coming across the line, it is second place at the end of it. A little bit annoyed, I think I could have won that, but at the end of the day, these things happen. Just shows everyone's human. Everyone can make a mistake. So not first to first this time, but first to second for the fastest lap, so I will take it. At the end of the day, it's not overly bad. I'm still leading the championship as well. Of course, with a first to first and a second puts me on 60 something points. So not too bad at the end of the day. Fast lap as well helps me out massively. No penalties there for the top 4 drivers. Of course, the track can be quite difficult at some points. But that will be it for this video. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed. Do leave a like and subscribe as well. It helps me out massively. And drop a comment as well. Feel free to do that. I will read and respond to them if you have any feedback for me. Apart from that, we'll see you tomorrow with the next one.